Hey everybody, it is Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and tonight I would love to show you step by step how you can paint these lovebirds on a branch. Now this is a more beginner focused painting, so you can be really new and maybe even never having done it before, and I promise you, if you follow along with the steps, you're going to be able to get a good result. One of the things that's really nice about this one is it doesn't use a lot of colors, and you can use whatever paint you have on you right now and it will still come out. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hey guys.
He makes sure you can see all the crazy stuff that I'm doing. He zooms in the cameras. He tracks me like a cat. He's all over it. And that way, if I'm giving an instruction or making an explanation, you can actually see what it is that I'm talking about, because I think we found that I explain things in a very unusual way. I have an odd set of metaphors. So it's nice to be able to see it and have it go with the words. This has been a long time since we've done a night stream. This is going to be something I have scheduled out on the regular. We're trying to give people across a couple different time zones a chance to go. And then also, lots of people normally work during the day. And so this gives them something to do at night and relax. And they will tend to be one hoot. The two hooter is tomorrow. Well, it might be three hoot. We'll see how that goes. Are you guys ready to jump on in?
I think we're ready.
Okay. So I actually sized this image up a little bit for tonight's painting. I'm doing it on a 9x12 artboard. So this was a smaller one when I did the design, and I'm like, this could be cool. I'm going to bring this over here. The colors are super simple. I have, I know it looks different than that. I have cad yellow medium. I have cad red medium. And I have Mars Black. Now, I chose to do this in what's called a soft-bodied. This is an interesting little pouch by Abstract, but look, you might not have that in your area. Similar thing as craft paint. You know, little craft bottles of paint, those are also a medium soft-bodied paint. So both will work. I mean, it gets all the way into the very, very pricey, wonderful golden fluid acrylics. But, you know, whatever you're using, as long as you have black paint, you can even thin it with water, so you're okay. The technique we're really going to be focusing on, and it's a good one for you guys to know as beginners, is the ombre. You know what I'm missing, John?
I don't know.
I'm missing a wish. We always do wishes, and I forgot my wishes.
You know what I wish?
I'm going to use my white chalk pencil. Give me a wish, John.
I wish we had some wishes.
That's not okay. So I'm going to wish that if you're out there and you're feeling like you need to be heard and you need to have your voice understood, I'm going to wish that you are heard, embraced, and listened to.
Okay, can I have a two-part wish?
Yeah, it's white chalk, so wish away.
Okay. Good time with family and spicy food.
Good time with family and spicy. You know, I'm not even flubbing this, guys. I'm really writing this.
There you go. So, we got some wishes.
That was funny. We usually do wishes. But this is a new day, new time, and apparently I forgot how I do my own show.
We do, yes.
So I'm going to take a big chunky brush. This happens to be number 30 ruby satin, but what you're looking for is just a nice big wide brush with synthetic filaments. Notice I'm going to dip this in the water and then drag off the excess. That's going to keep my brush from being too wet so that I can't getting paint on. I'm going to start by brushing this across in a little bit of a curve like this. See, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Bright yellow.
Bright yellow.
Bright yellow. And I'm going to come up, boop, 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 halfway mark. Isn't that nice?
Mm-hmm.
So you got the first part. If you've got a yellow stripe, you're good. Now what's hard on beginners is the ombre effect. And the ombre is hard. Let me grab some paper towels. They're stuck here. The ombre is hard because the paint dries pretty fast. And once the paint is dry, it doesn't want to blend. Now I'm going to wipe off my brush on a paper towel. I'm going to come over to whatever my red is. And I'm going to get just a little bit on here, working it into the brush. And then I'll even add some yellow paint into it. And what I'm going to be getting is kind of an orange. That's the color that I'm looking for. And it's real easy to tint yellow, so you kind of want to go slower, but not so slow that this paint dries. So I'm going to come across here and look, making that nice orange. Brushing that up. See how that goes?
Yeah.
And I can even bring that down a little bit as if the sky is sort of blending down in a little sunset space. See how I do?
Mm.
I just kind of press lightly when I want it to be a little airier. Over here. Make sure all the canvas is covered. Sometimes these little suckers fight back, as we've seen. Now, it's going to want to dry fastest here. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse out a bit because I want this next to be a little more red. I'm going to do an interesting thing. I'm going to damp my brush. Right? Same thing, damping and dragging off. I'm going to load up. And notice how I flip my brush and also get my hand in yellow paint. Definitely duplicate that part. No, that's not necessary. I'm going to come down, brushing from the top down into the orange, which needs to still be wet. And if it is, when I come across, look at that nice transition. That's how you get that sunsetty transition where you go dark red, orange, yellow. See how well that worked?
Yeah.
Wipe that off. Look at my hot mess of a hand. It's just been all day today. Finger painting on Instagram, brush, yellow paint all over my brush. Somebody send me some love. All right. I'm going to hit the bubbles because we're going to celebrate something, John.
Okay, what are we going to celebrate?
We're going to celebrate that we did part 1. And Yay! I can't turn my bubbles on, but that's what we did. So if you find your paint is maybe not covering as well as you would like, or it's streaky, remember you can do a couple of coats and that's okay. And it's only going to make your painting better. Sometimes certain paints don't really have good coverage. And sometimes the Sherpa doesn't know how to turn off her own bubble machine.
But that's okay.
Right? So that's just something to think about. If you're finding that you're having trouble getting those edges to ombre, chances are it dried. If it did dry on you and you find you have a yellow stripe, an orange stripe, and a red stripe, go ahead and go through and try again. You can do as many coats as you want. Acrylic can take it. How is everybody doing tonight?
Really good. This has been really nice seeing everybody out here. I was just over and saying hello to, let's see here. I see Linda. She says, hey, everybody. And I saw Karen Scott was here. And Sarah loves the bubbles, of course. And Lynn says she really loves your hair today. And lots of people were commenting on that. Ruth liked your shirt. I like your shirt, too. And Pedmarcha, I'm sure I said some of that.
Is it Padmarcha or Pedmarcha?
Padmarcha? Padmarcha? Padmarchana.
His name is John. He doesn't even make it hard for any of us, does he, John?
Padmarchana said she saw you on Instagram Live.
Oh, guys, if you made it to the Instagram Live today with our collaboration with Savoir Faire, we did it over on their account, and they did a giveaway. And you know what? I didn't even know they were going to give away 5 of those sets. I was really blown away. It was super generous. So everybody who got to come by and see that goofy, wonderful, fun thing and participate, congratulations to all the winners. I just had a lot of fun. And they're going to be doing that next week. Not with me. Different artists, but same bad time, same bad channel other than that. Not exciting. I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Friday night! Friday night and I'm painting. Friday night and I'm... Maybe you're out clubbing on your phone going, what is this woman doing on a Friday night? Doesn't she know it's clubbing night? If you just had that moment with me.
You can't go clubbing now.
I can't.
We're in the no club zone.
I don't know. I'll still club.
Because of the COVID.
Oh, yeah, there is no more clubbing, is there? It's probably I think Generation Alpha, or is it Generation Z, actually started the thing where you go out into a field and you put on headphones and you don't go near each other. So I think they were already social distancing.
You know how
in
I
their
would
new
do
club
this?
Scene.
I would do this. You know those giant inflatable balls you can get into?
Yeah.
Imagine if we just got like 40 of those and then everyone got into them and we went into a big room and then we had a party. We'd all be in our little...
With that. Just put me in a giant inflatable ball with other people in giant inflatable balls. That just seems like any fun frat movie from the 80s.
See, that just
to me right now.
Everyone will be socially distanced and cushioned with a big air. I mean, like, you're mandatory. You can't get 6 feet closer to each other.
I have a feeling that a bunch of mask businesses just came into business. You know what I mean? Like, that's a thing now. Well, I guess it's a new fashion accessory. All right, are you guys ready? I'm going to dry this to make sure that my hand can rest and be stable for the next part.
Okay.
And so hopefully this painting live, this gave you a little chance to catch up. I'm going to dry it, let you catch up a bit. But we do want to, if you're painting along, have it be dry before the next layer.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Going around. Dude, that's pretty good. You didn't do bad, babe.
I know how to do that.
Still a little wet, but I'm gonna give it a dry.
So while she's drying that, I'll say, don't forget to use your air moving device on the lowest heat setting, especially when you're using craft paints or student paints, because when you use heat, it can cause some problems with the paint shifting in colors, doing lamination, all sorts of things. So it's just best not to use heat. Just use air. Let it move over the surface, and that's what causes it to cure. And that's sort of the thing. So don't forget, don't use heat. Ta-da! So, she's done.
I see streakiness.
You see streakiness?
Mm-hmm. I see
streaks.
I see streaky people. All right. Sorry. That was a really round the bend 6 Sense joke that may not have hit anybody. So what happened is my brush was a little wet, and so the paint was a little over thin, and I just got to come here. Look at that. Look at me fix that. Not stressed, not upset. I just kind of come down and make sure it sort of blends into the orange.
I was kind of wondering what was up that.
Yeah, that's all that was. A little wet. And sometimes you don't see it till it's dry. But here's what you don't have to do. You don't have to freak out. You don't have to feel any anxiety for 2 reasons. One, it's art. So, the whole goal was just to paint. So you've already accomplished that. The result is a sort of side effect that happens along the way. The other thing is it's acrylic. So if you let it dry, when you go to fix your mistake, you can paint over it. So like when you see that, you're like, all right, I'm just going to let it dry for a second. And then boom, it's there. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to dry that.
Oh,
and John can do nice. Huh?
We need bubbles for Patty while we're waiting.
Patty.
She's shifty talk and bubbles. And
Patty.
She's happy for that.
Patty. Thank you.
Get the bubbles.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I know you have to dry your surface. I'll let you go over and dry your surface. So I
just want to pop bubbles.
We got pop. So thank you, Patty. Thank you very much. We appreciate everybody who comes and helps us out, provides us support here at the Art Sherpa. It lets us do as the Sherpa do, as the Frank would say. And the Sherpa do, what the Sherpa do is she teaches you guys how to paint for free on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and all the places. And I just love that that's what she does, and it gives me purpose to come and hang out and produce videos, and I just love it. So thank you guys for making that possible, and do as the Sherpa do.
Do as the Sherpa do?
As the Frank would say.
You could. You could do as I do. You don't have to, but you could.
That's paint.
It's helpful.
Just paint.
I'm going to use chalk. Now, this is a weird chalk. If you're familiar with me, this is the Dritz chalk tool. You can just use kids' chalk as well. The kind that's used on chalkboards. Sometimes I like to use this on my surface because I can kind of test out an idea or a line before committing it in black paint and just make sure that things are going to be okay. So if you come up from the top, about 3 fingers down, I just want to have a nice space here. I don't want it to get up, too high. I want to bring a little branch over. The other place I'm going to put a branch is just below that transition where the orange is starting to become yellow. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to scoop this down and kind of bring that up. And it's going to make that Ferris Bueller kind of noise there, but that's going to give us a hint. Now, this area here gives us the place for the birds to sit, and you want a nice kind of counter arc. Woo!
Is that now? Are you all done with your chalk?
I am.
Okay, so I noticed something very interesting
about
your chalk.
What?
So you said it was children's chalk, kids' chalk.
No, I said you could use children's chalk.
Right, but you identified that chalk that you use on a chalkboard as kids' chalk and not teacher's chalk. So it's very interesting how you see the ownership of the chalk belongs to the children and not the teacher.
Well, I mean,
I
thought the chalkboard was mine too.
I never really noticed it.
Weren't you allowed to do all the art you wanted to on the chalkboard?
Mr. East and I had an ongoing war where he was allergic to chalk and didn't like me drawing on the chalkboard, but especially didn't like me sleeping in his class. So there was a thing with chalk and erasers being thrown and drawing on the board and sleeping in class. There was some stuff there.
That seems like a you thing. I just like to do art on the chalk, and I was always allowed to.
No, I can't say. The one board that I really enjoyed drawing on was his, because I think it was because he was allergic to chalk.
Now, what you see me doing here is I'm going to tell you a couple things, just in case it's your first time painting. And it's ask any questions that you want. I'm going to roll out. I'll rinse out. Let's talk a little bit about a load and how we get there. So here's my brush, and I want to load it. And you'll see me pulling it in. What you may have trouble seeing is that I'm rolling the brush in my fingers. And I'm doing that so that the belly of the brush becomes full of paint. When I want a thicker stroke, I'm going to press harder. And when I want the stroke to become finer, I lighten the pressure on my brush, allowing the brush to lighten up and just engage just the ends of the hairs on the toe. And that's how I get a thick, thin branch. If you find that you're getting to the end of the stroke and it's not giving you nice coverage, just add a little water. And that's how you get that. Just in case you had not done that before and you'd like some extra info, we're going to do the same thing right here. Back to Mr. East. So, John, here's the thing now. There was more school than when you were in that class. So, was that always your experience with teachers?
No. But, in most of the other, in physics, there was a lot of drawing on the chalkboard, where we would speculatively plot the trajectory of things.
That seems fun.
It was artistic.
I think physics is its own art form. Oh, I'm getting over to the left.
I have to say, that was a pretty good class, yeah.
You liked your physics class?
Yeah. And surprisingly, in art, I got to take art class one semester, and we never did any chalk work. Well, on the chalkboard. That's not true. I did that.
You took art with me. We did all kinds of things.
We did. I have to say, Mr. taking classes from Reverend Talley was probably the most probably educational in art that I ever, like, the deepest art education I think I've gotten.
It was the real. Well, it was the real, son.
I think he was the one who introduced me to Brancusi. And actually,
he saw what you were into, and he said, "Hey, this is more of that."
He connected me to sculpture in a way that I'd never been connected to before, and it launched my love of that. And I went on to, study at Glassell and
I think teachers matter, don't they? I got a little high here with my branch, but it's okay. I'm gonna just come off here and still make this branch going up. I still have room for leaves, so I don't think it's a sum loss.
Nope.
And then I'll just get more interesting with this branch. It does. The teachers that you have in your life, your teacher impacts what you think of a subject, don't they?
They do.
That's a lot of power. That's a lot of power teachers have.
And thank you, A. Brown, for lots of the love and positivity as well.
Oh my gosh, thank you, A. Brown. Let's bubble you. Let me get some branches out, A. Brown. So I'm going to just continue to branch this out. Can you guys see how I just bring a little line off of there? And there's always a little bit of an S-curve. Your guys' favorite. S-curve. Let's bubble for A. Brown.
So, it's funny.
Boom,
this is...
Boom, boom. Bubble, 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 boom, boom, boom. Thank you for the bubble, bubble, boom, boom, boom. Thank you for the bubble. I'm weirder at night. Have y'all noticed? During the day, I'm like, this is our class. I will teach you. At night, I'm like, and we're going to paint.
Now, see, it was in college that we actually had some overlapping school.
That's right.
So you were going to school for fine arts, which was conveniently located
near the high energy physics department,
just down the hall from the high energy physics department where I was going.
I have a theory about that.
Why is that?
The university put the loons together.
I think so. It's very true.
I think that was just it. They were like, what two departments are super crazy? Oh, art and high energy physics, same thing. I mean, I think in some sense to the rest of academia, we were very similar creatures.
Well, I think there was a reason that Dr. Judd put his offices on the art,
He got stuck there. That was not a choice.
I think he told me often that he loved being in the art building because he got to go over and see all the stuff that was going on. So I don't know. I think that that it was like I know all the physics students certainly enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, he was so fantastic. He was a fantastic teacher too. He loved his field and what he did.
He loved to love.
That was also true. He had a bit of that going on, didn't he? He had his own soundtrack. I'll say that for sure.
Okay. Dr. Judd, I mean, he did have his own soundtrack when he walked, and legitimately could wear a poet shirt and make it work. It's just like every day to work, poet shirt, and he just made it work.
Can you give them a side full shot of the canvas so they can get a nice view of it? Kind of zoomed out a bit, just so they get a sense of where those branches are in placement. You guys see how that is? It's not like, even here, if you look, it's a little bumpy. You can always come and fix these lines by just coming back smoothly. Right? But say something terrible happened. I'm going to put this here just in case, because I know if you're real new, this could happen. So I'm going to go like that.
Dun, dun, dun.
So let's say I had a boo-boo. All right. Well, the first thing I could do is I could come try to, without like really making it worse by smearing it across the canvas, tap up as much as I could get, which does pretty good. Right? I don't want to pull the paint up that's underneath it. I just want to tap it up. And I'm going to let that rest there for a second, because a lot of people try to repair acrylic mistakes while the paint's all still wet, which it doesn't do particularly well. And now I'm going to put out a teeny tiny amount of white paint when I find it, because I know I have it. Oh, there it is. Hiding in front of my face. Where it goes. I'm going to put out a teeny tiny amount of white paint. I'm just going to do this because I know, again, sometimes these simpler designs attract a newer painter. And gosh, when you're really, really new and you make a mistake, it just feels like it's over, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What art teaches you a truth about life that life sometimes forgets to teach you. It ain't nothing but a thing. It's not a big deal. You just let it dry and paint over it and move on. You don't have to be worried that this little boo-boo will stop all of your progress. Because sometimes it does feel like that, doesn't it? I'm going to move some black up closer to me so I have an easier time. I put it back too far, and I'm thinking, how hard will that be?
I'm going to give a big hug to all
Is it bubble time?
Yes, it is. This bubble is for our trolls.
Really? Please tell me.
We love you.
What did our trolls have to say? Please tell me.
Our trolls came in and heckled our patrons, and thought that it was shameful that we were heckling our patrons to support our channel.
Wait, heckled our patrons?
I just deleted all the chat there. I was like, you guys.
I don't even know what they said. How do I respond?
Well, I can respond for you. What I can say is, guys, thank you for being part of our community. Thank you for hanging out, and thank you for making what we do possible. We appreciate it. Whether you like, comment, share, or support us through the live chat, the donations, our patronage, we appreciate that we can do what we do here because of your support. So
yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Who thought we were heckling our patrons?
I deleted them.
He deletes them, guys, just so you guys know out there. He deletes them for your sake.
I swing
because
I'll
find
hammer.
You.
Fast.
I'm very
and
good
furious.
at it. So he's like, nope, no trail left behind.
That's right.
Has them go.
Look, this place is for partying and art. And if you're not doing those two things.
And also, I love my patrons.
Yeah.
I love my community. I even kind of love my trolls. I do, actually. The art world has the best trolls, the best patrons, best everything.
Okay, sorry.
We just have the best. Can we dry this, though?
To all the trolls I've
banned
before.
I feel like that's a new thing. I'm going to take this number 4 round brush. You see this brush right here? And I'm going to come and just make a little leaf shape. A little leaf shape is sort of like a little diamond. You can make them long, you can make them short, you can make lots of them, you can make very few. I mean, really, it's sort of up to you. Let's see how we're doing, just painting out little leaf shapes.
I do.
Leaves are nice. I like leaves. I do like leaves, though. I'm going to give myself another little, maybe a smaller leaf. Well, that's lovely. You can also make them big and small in different sizes. You gotta remember to read it. I don't know how to respond to it. I have the best stuff.
So Karen said that she appreciated my diplomacy.
Yeah. John is very diplomatic. Until he's not, but he is mostly.
Yeah, I think everybody has that,
That's true. I'm in a good mood, though.
So is Patty. She loves the troll bubbles. Thank you, Patty.
Trouble. Actually, let's do that from now on. From now on, channel rule, if we get trolled, we bubble. So we bubble for the patrons and we bubble for the trolls.
This seems like inviting trouble. I don't think you understand how the internet works.
I do. I feel like they're the Scooby Snacks. Dramatic people who are home alone.
What you're now saying is, we're going to see how quickly John can both switch and swing the band hammer.
It's a light painting night, right, guys? We're
Uh-huh.
doing a one hooter, which just means whenever you see one hoot, it just means that the difficulty level is a little bit lower and more beginner friendly. And we just kind of slow down and make the whole process a little nicer. Well, not actually that my complicated classes don't make them nice, but we have a lot more techniques going on.
Mhm.
Right now, we're just going to make little football shapes. You got that in you. You got the music in you.
What?
Yes?
But what if these aren't football shapes?
Well, I mean,
Because-
I'm not gonna come critique your leaf and say that your leaf is somehow not valid.
But what I'm saying is that if I'm from anywhere else in the world, footballs are not shaped like that.
Well, I'm not saying they're useful.
Well, I mean,
Because it would be soccer ball.
Yeah. Well,
So I'm being a US centric.
you're being yeah.
Look,
I don't know what they call that.
I know on the surface this appears that I'm being one of those American people.
Merkins.
But I promise you, if I lived in Italy, I still wouldn't get sports. It wouldn't help. I would just be confused there too.
What brush are you using?
Huh?
What brush are you using?
Number 4 round from the Art Sherpa line.
Okay.
But, okay, so yes, I do love my brush, and it is awesome. However, you just want a nice round brush with a synthetic filament and a nice point. So whatever you can get, whatever's available to you. There's a link below if you want to find these and figure out where they're for sale. But also, local art stores are pretty cool too.
All right.
Right? Right. It's like, it's nice to have things, but I don't want to make y'all feel like you've got to go get them. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. You can paint if you want to. Just on the toe of the brush. So this skill, what we're doing right here, what we're practicing is drawing with the brush. Lifting up and being on the toe of the brush and making little shapes and lines and filling it in. This gets complicated as you move on in your art world, but this is just the basic thing. So right now, if you're wondering what you've learned how to do S-curves, you've learned how to do a blend, and in a minute, you're going to learn how to do a repair, and that's in one free class. What do you think of that?
I have a question.
I have an answer.
Spear would like to know, why is your brush so long?
Because I'm at the easel. So brushes come in 2 handle lengths, long handle, short handle, and how to decide which one is best for you. If you're sitting at your kitchen table, short handle, please. If you're at an easel, long handle.
Huh.
Super simple. Boom, boom. All right, let's repair this boo-boo.
Is that what you're going to do next?
We're going to repair a boo-boo. We're going to repair it. We're going to repair it. We're going to repair it. And you know what? It's going to look great. It's going to look great. So I'm going to get another brush. And I'm going to get a little yellow on my brush. And just a smidge of my orange, right? Make a little orange. Something close to what I had before. Kind of keeping the same directionality, but look, boo-boo gone.
It's gone.
And that's with black paint. In life and on your canvas, a little boo-boo does not ruin the whole picture. Let's marinate in that a moment. A little boo-boo doesn't marinate. You know, sometimes it feels like if we make a mistake or we're wrong, our life is ruined. I'm gonna do a little trick here now. So here's a trick. And I want to put this in pretty soon. I'll put my leaves in, but I'm going to show you a trick on how to do a straight line. However, I'm still thinking I need to let this dry more to show you the trick. But yeah, think about that. How often in life are we told or we feel that if we make a mistake, our opportunities, our reputation, the things we care about are just ruined, right? You know, if you're not a perfect person, then bad stuff can happen to you. And potentially even sometimes it seems like the world says, like, you know, you would deserve that, right? Like not unpleasant things happening.
Well,
but the truth is, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has mistakes. And maybe if we were okay with that, it would be so much easier to admit it. Because if it felt like you could just paint over it and move on and get to the rest of the picture, it wouldn't be so upsetting. So try to maybe embrace that idea. What were you going to say, babe?
I was going to say Australia.
Australia.
We got to give some Australia some bubbles.
Well, let me put some leaf out. She said, was she what?
She's just surprised me.
She surprised you with was there a sticker?
Big orange. She said, your videos are delightful. And big exclamation. It was just like, hi, Australia.
Australia. Thank you so much. We really, Bubble Machine, you're not working with me. Thank you. Actually, it's my operator error.
She has a really cool name. Australia Eventide. That's almost...
Dude, I'm ready to quest with you, Australia.
I know, I was going to say, that's like the most...
From here to Mordor.
I was going to say, that's a very questy name. It's like, you know, I could party with you.
Can I be in your fellowship? Dance with me.
Fellowship of the Brush.
Making a shirt! Making a shirt. Gonna make a shirt. Fellowship of the Brush. I am gonna make a shirt now. Give it a week. I'll have it by next week. Next Friday, I will have a shirt.
I don't even doubt it.
Not like on me because they take forever. But
oh, have you ever used a maul stick?
Have I ever what?
Used a maul stick?
Yes, I have.
I've used a maul stick, but only for banning people. Just boom.
Whap.
It's just really good.
A maul stick is a really cool tool that allows you to rest your hand like a bridge for your vertical surfaces, your canvases. Basically, it's a stick with a nice soft ball at the end. Now, you can get a beautiful one from the art store, but I'm going to be really honest. I have stuck a sock on the end of a stick and made it work. So,
if you don't have a maul stick, you can use a shillelagh. It will work just as well.
A shillelagh?
Just
a shillelagh, sir. That's paint.
What do you? I think you had too much coffee.
I didn't. You know what it is? It's that I'm happy. That's all it is. I'm so happy. Things are going well. I'm super happy. Lots of good stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I can just do this little touch one or make a little brush stroke and it makes a leaf just gently. Isn't this a pretty little painting?
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty happy little painting and it doesn't ask you to be sad. It doesn't do that. But that artwork actually asks you to be sad. Maybe that banana on the wall did a little bit. But I think we made the best of it. Do you know we're still getting in banana art from the banana art tutorial?
Really?
Yes.
It's sticky art.
It just... What? It was just so crazy. Let's put a couple little leaves right here.
Don't leave them out.
Don't leave your leaves out. Ah, isn't that nice?
It is.
So you have some leaves. It's a nice little graphic. You can always add more. You can have less. It's really up to you. These are your leaves. This is your canvas. You can do what you like. and nobody will be mad. If you need to remove any of the chalk, you just come up here with a damp brush and go, bye-bye, bye-bye. Chalk problems. If you're having problems with your chalk, could be that your surface is still a little bit wet. It could be that your surface is not cured, or it could be that your surface is not cured and is still warm. So if you want your chalk to work really well, you've got to let the canvas be really, really dry and cured. 2 states of acrylic paint, dry and cured.
Interesting.
John can explain the difference between dry and cured while I quick dry this so I can do my trick.
Okay. So, dried means that the water has been extracted out of the surface. And that causes the molecules to shrink up and start to lock together. Curing, however, is a chemical process by which there's a molecular change to the paint. And after it's done curing, it's hardened all the way through and the water has also evaporated.
See? States of a painting. So the trick here is you want to leave enough room for 2 birds on your branch perched together, and you need your string to come down straight. If I take my little chalk line and go all the way down here, that lets me know how to separate up my birds. And then I'm going to bring the heartstring to about halfway between the branches. So while my ruler is still here, this cool ruler is called a T-square. These are not expensive, and they are your painter friend. It's probably the hardest part of today for many, many people will be this straight line. Just save us from a straight line, universe. Always clean up your T-square. And now it's time to paint pretty little birds. Do you like birds? I like birds.
Do.
So my trick to my birds goes like this. The first thing I like to do is I need to make sure that I have a little bit of space above the branch so I can get some legs. So I make little marks. I just want to make sure that I have a little space so that I have leg room. Everybody needs a little leg room. Then I'm going to come back. I also need to make sure that I have a little space between each bird and each other. Make a little teardrop that kind of comes up like this. That's not too bad. It's like a fat little tadpole. You see that little shape?
Yeah.
Dip in my brush in water just to keep the flow improving. And you need one just about the same size. They don't have to be twinsies, but, you know, sisters at least. Or, well, they're lovebirds, so not. But similar shapes and sizes.
Huh.
You can see that's just about a little bit of a curve. Now, listen, if you haven't painted before, right, and your birds are a little fatter or skinnier or different than mine, guess what? This is art, so that's okay.
It's okay.
Take a deep breath. Let it out and go. This is art. This is okay. I'm just coloring. It's all right. I'm doing this to relax. There's no point in taking up a new hobby to relax if I'm going to be upset and stressed about it. See, how doesn't that make you feel better? Let's put 2 little heads on there. Now my heads are just a little bit of a ball, and it's easier to add than take away. So I tend to make a little bump, a little bit at a time, so that I have a little more control over it. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Drawing with a brush. Now, my hand is very far up my ferrule. It is because of the way we teach on the show. Normally, when you're at an easel, you're like way back on, oh, little birds, I paint you. But here I'm like, I'm going to get in on it. So that's what's going on there. If you didn't know. I dip my brush in water, and you can see what I'm doing is I'm just thinning this paint a little bit so that it flows nicely off my brush. Now, once I have the heads in, a little upward beak. On the toe of the brush, if I don't press very hard, my lines are very fine. If I press too hard, my lines get thicker. But I'm going to give them 2 little beaks. And by making the beaks face kind of upwards, it makes the birds look like they're looking up.
Yeah.
Fun part now. Wings, tails, fluff. So 1 feather, 2 feather. Say it with me. 1 feather, 2 feather. 3 feather, 4. Just love giving them. Now, if their little bum gets a little bit there, you can always just round that out. Look.
Okay. Why is there a chalk line between the birds?
That is so that I could remember to keep them separate. That's actually a little trick. So what happens a lot of times, if you try to eyeball it or freehand it, and you're not really familiar with that skill, you'll make spatial mistakes. It just takes your brain a minute to do this work for you, and you got to give it a second. But by giving yourself that light chalk line, you can remember that they can't touch and where they're supposed to center out. And also, this will help the string stay centered above the birds.
Cool.
So that's why we did that. It's just a weird little trick to make things easier.
Interesting.
And it's easy enough to remove, so we don't have to worry about like its outcome. Now, I think it's fun that they have feathers on the bottom, but this stroke goes best if I pull it into the bird. So that's why I flipped it over. And then I'm going to do 1 little feather, a bigger feather, a biggest feather. Just kind of making them fluffy on the bottom. And then that's a little easier to adjust. Because again, sometimes strokes are nice to pull. And you're just trying to make them feel fluffy. Once you have that, it's easy to fatten them up. So if you want them fatter, you can do that at this stage. Rounding them out and making that how you want. Legs. You guys, should they have legs?
I would think
legs.
They would enjoy it, I think.
So I'm going to bring a short line back and then a bend. Short line back and a bend. You can make it thicker as it goes from the bird to the branch. Little thick thin lines. Little thick thin lines. Are you having fun? I'm a having fun. And then we're going to bring this down. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. Then little bird legs. Now they're standing there. How's that?
I like it. They're really
Rinsing
cute.
out. Bye-bye, chalk line. Bye-bye. There you go. Didn't that work out well?
That turned out really good.
Now, I'm going to grab some of I may need to put out a little more red paint, and that's why we want to bring this line down into the orange more than the red so that this will show up. If you have 2 reds, you can change the red it is, but I'm trying to do this with a very limited palette. And the reason is to make it easier for you guys, the beginner. Just in case you're doing this painting and you didn't want to run out and buy a bunch of things. So what I did was a little line. It's just about an inch long, maybe a little longer than an inch. I'm going to bring the V up and come around and match the side. And then just paint that in all red. You can make the heart bigger from here easily, but it just gives you that first basis. Isn't that great? And so the trick to this is you don't want it up here because it won't really show the same color. But if you get it down into the light orange, and it's easy. Ish. Easy-ish. Sometimes when I say it's easy, then everybody writes me back and they're like, it wasn't easy. You need to look up what that word means in the dictionary. And that's okay. There we go. And now we have a little heart hanging above the birds. Oh my gosh, guys, you did a painting. You did a painting. So you did S strokes, you did contour drawing, you drew with a brush, you did silhouette work where you built shapes and objects with just their identifiable little lines. See how you built a bird, you painted a bird, and you have an ombre. That's a lot to learn in one class. Let's sign that.
All right.
Let's sign it. Now, yes, I switch brushes. This is my favorite signature brush, and it can be kind of a pain to sign without a really great brush or pen. You can use a Posca paint pen. And at this stage, just sign however you want. But I'm going to put my little signature here. What? I missed that last one. There it is. Ran out of paint. There you go. It's not Sherpa unless I have the little flourish. There we go. We did it. Let's bubble up because we did it. We did it. Wait, I'm going to put this here because.
Just leave where it was. Yeah, I got it.
We did it.
That turned out awesome.
A painting. Yes, we did it. We did it. We painted the painting.
And I want to say thank you to everyone who came and made today more fun. You know, it's interesting. You know, we get a wide variety of folks that join us, and I appreciate everybody from all over the world who've come here, all the folks from England who have no idea what we're speaking about or talking about, and all of the people from Australia that think we talk funny. You know, we love you guys. Thank you for coming and joining us.
Now, tomorrow we're going to be doing a 2 to 3 hoot painting that's based on the Neverland fairy tale. So we're going to actually use some of the skills we learned here today. Even if this is your first painting, you're like, I'm not ready for something more complicated. Come by and join us because the chat is fun and you're going to learn something from the techniques anyways to keep using, going with and enjoying. Did everyone enjoy this class?
Everybody loved this. This was fantastic.
I can't hear you.
It was so good. It was so good. Our trolls had fun.
Our trolls even had fun?
Dude, and I had fun banning them. So it was good for everyone.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone who came and made this show a good time. Friday nights are going to be our fun night. We're going to keep it light. We're going to keep it fun. We're going to keep it happy because we need that in the world right now. Come by Saturday. It's still going to be fun and happy, but a little more involved of an art class. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other. And I want to see you at an easel really soon. Bye-bye.